So you think when you have no kills in 10 minutes and the enemy team has a whole bunch, that it's an unwinnable game. You think that, don't you? In every rank that you're in, that's not always true. And specifically, it's almost never true. It's only true if you believe it. So let's see what happens with this Ekko and where his missed opportunities in Diamond lie. And those of you who are not Diamond, take to heart the fact that these players are still way better than you. Don't think, oh, like he's in Diamond. No, they're better than you. But Diamond players understand that to change this is to get Master Tier. And those of you, again, below Diamond, to change this is to get Diamond. And you kind of set yourself up for even more success. Now, we're getting to Jax. Now, all of us know Jax on this channel by this point, and introduction motivation to not elo shame each other complete. We're doing a red side quadrant. The Ekko is doing a blue side quadrant. Always, mixed feelings about this. I just released on the gameplay channel an Elise doing red side quadrant, spoiler alert, into an invade. I feel like when you're playing Ekko, you're not going to be doing that, but Jax's could do that, and Xin Shao's can do that, Viego's can do that, a lot of different champions can do that. Ekko, on the other hand, you're looking at the matchups, and you're seeing Yorick versus Yone, you're going upside, and you've got here the Kai'Sa and the Bard versus Smolder and the Milio. Where are you ganking? Think about this. Where are you ganking as Ekko in this particular game? Probably Twisted Fate, right? We have the yellow card to prime spot that Sylas onto our W. Now, Sylas here, as we witness, goes down a little bit. We see the Jax over there. The Yone is moving in. The Sylas goes and puts a deport. So when we see the Sylas come back out of vision here, there we go. That tells us everything. Now, if he was a smart Sylas gamer, he might even try and loop back and come back this way to mislead you, right? He would lose a lot of tempo for that in terms of, well, not tempo, but like experience, proximity and things like this. So he's not really going to overcommit to that. But now you know straight up, it's most likely warded on the side. So we go ahead and do the Krugs. Yone's moved on down. Weirdly, he has warded before, but it gets cleared. And at this particular stage, he should have maybe saved his ward for this moment. If you're going to shove top lane in this meta, and you see Jax up bottom side, as a laner, please ward this. As a jungler, please pay attention to it. You've got to. It is the way it is. Let's see if the Jax actually capitalizes. Now, from the Ekko's perspective, we saw the Sylas go up. We saw the Sylas ward and come down. We should know that Jax is on this side as well, and we should also understand that, well, because the Yone showed, that the Sylas has vision, which means we are spotted as we go this way. I don't know why we've gone this way. This is what really confuses me. Now we E onto this Jax, we eat his counter-strike to try to place our W, but by now it's way too late. The Jax knows what's coming. The Sylas is prior, he's rotating over, and the Yorick is now regained prior here. Flash bonks you in the face. And the Yone will E back to, his top lane. You absolutely must head over to Virkayu.gg. I have a free jungle improvement resource as well as a dedicated program where we have jungle video courses, jungle coaching VOD libraries, weekly free video content seen nowhere else, as well as Q&As and patch note rundowns, as well as a private jungle Discord. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's making junglers reach their goals, as we saw with the record number of people hitting them at the end of Season 13. If you want to climb faster than anyone you know, jungle diff every game you play, click the link below or head to Virkayu.gg. So from an educational perspective, you're watching this, you're doing this, all right, we see the Sylas Watercast, see him come up, all right, he's got prior, okay, cool. We see the Yone do some gaming, okay, we know that Jax is over there. So, look at this now, right, look at this now, it's a Yorick, right, what do Yoricks like to do? Push, and you can see with this little mighty ghouls of champions, and nice braces, little emo, but mostly historically inaccurate in all those movies and shows. Like, they wear these things, so style points, I suppose. But you see this pushing back in a little bit, and you've got no prior here. So what should you do even as an Ekko? Just leave, go back to base, go down, do something about this lane. So you either start topside, pass down, try to do something directly about this. If the Jax is bad in a diamond and an emerald and in whatever rank you're in, that is possible, and he might even just stay topside 10 years and gank this, and you get to counter jungler. That still happens even in Master Tier. I don't know. So that opposite pathing is very, very useful, all right? However, if you're going to be intent on doing this and kind of flexing your decision-making, as soon as you see this, like, I'm not even going to the crab. And if I'm going to the crab, I'm going around the top side. The top side, because I might as well just try and gank the Yorick, but that's a fat wave. He had ghouls up. It's so weird that they don't think about the Sylas. They don't think about the ward. They don't think about the Yorick ghouls and the pushback. They obsess. This is a monstrously illegal bad habit, and I'm making a main channel video about that. That should be out by the time most of you see this, as these videos typically kind of accumulate over time. illegal bad habits. Maybe I'll put Volibear and Vi Officer, you know, donuts and things like that. There's just no point making such an illegal habit, and that's one of these things, not assessing prior correctly. And this wasn't like some, you know, sub-obvious prior. It was like very clearly there was no prior. All we had to do is go back to base. Now, if we had gone back to base, we've already taken this Scuttle Crab. We've already ganked this bottom lane, and Jax already, as a Diamond Jungler, should realize that the Ekko is definitely going to be doing this. So I don't want to result based from the Ekko's point of view here or the Jax's point of view. W needs to hit, obviously, that's very important. Jax goes backline here, and we're not really paying attention, are we, as Ekko? We get stunned against the wall here. Chunk, 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 chunk. Are we going to live? One more! We actually do live. I did not expect it. I was kind of saying that as if we were going to die. Yeah, this is fascinating in terms of jungle theory. Because now the Ekko's... Oh, the lazy base, man. The lazy base. This is a fundamental breakdown of diamond level jungling. End of story. Even from the Jax. So, don't assess the Jax's jungling and be like, wow, what a good player. No. No, 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 no. The fact that the guy full clears up here, gets a little bit of something, something, goes back down here to take this, and then crosses mid to try and contest the skeleton he knows is gone is just terrible. Go back to base immediately, sir. Go down here, lane counter gank this, so you'd maybe be in the same position. But most likely, if the Ekko did his job correctly, he would have based earlier, right? Finish a full clear, base, scuttle, gank. And at the same time, Jax is just finishing this up, looking at his mid laner. All right, I can do nothing. So he will go back to base. Ekko can then fall back to these things, and the Jax will come back onto the map and then do this and this. You follow? And then the Ekko has a decision. Do I keep sequencing blindly? Or do I cut in and try and gank mid lane to create pride for the grubs? Replay that sequence if you need to. But that's how things kind of should have gone. And again, kind of should have. Because you have to play what is, not what should be. In my mind, that's kind of what should happen. But if junglers do other things, then you've got to adapt your pathing. Now, it's pretty damn obvious at this point that most junglers are obsessed with grubs, even though they don't have prior. Jax here thinks I'm obsessed with grubs too, so I'm going to go ahead and fight the Ekko on this grub camp. Now, do you feel foolish when this happens to you, or do you feel like, where are my leaders? Because you don't got the prior. End of story. So what do you do in this particular situation? You just do Krugs, Raptors, Wolves, Grump, and again, you get bottom lane. So, when you see a 5-0 game the next time you actually have one, and you think, man, that's not my fault, right? Like, it's just my laners, they're not rotating, they're dying. No, 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 no. You have so much impact. I think there are games where you can truly have 0 kills, depending on your champion and how you're playing the game, but it's rare, you know? It's definitely rare. I mean, 1 kill, 2 kills, sure, but 0? I think the worst cases are where you get 0, you think something bad happened, but you just messed up mechanically, so you missed kills you should have gotten. And now the problem is, we didn't maximize our experience, all right? We didn't maximize our experience as the Ekko in a losing situation. First and foremost, if we recognize these things, go back to base, gank bottom lane, clear again, we're 6, we're here, he's grubs, fine, we'll take this, we counter jungle, we gank it again. You could absolutely probably have 3 ganks bottom lane, while the Jax only really tries mid and top lane, but they're shoved in. Like, he's not going to dive a Twisted Fate. He's not going to maybe dive a Yone. He could do, but in theory, the Jax should have nothing. But we have given him everything. We just gave and spoon-fed the Jax everything he got. And I can tell you something for sure. Because I do a lot of coaching, and I've played my fair share of Diamond over the years on mains, on Smurfs, and originally when you're first grinding through for the first time, 10 years ago now, it's a bit concerning. Kind of understand that when this happens to you, it's your fault. You are giving the enemy jungler freebies. And I feel like that's such a big reason for the way I explain the game now, is I don't like that feeling, right? It's embarrassing. It's like scoring an own goal 4 times in one game, or scoring in your own basket 4 times, or, you know, I don't know. Whatever sport you follow, committing the thing for the enemy team that helps. It's not something I ever want to feel in games. So I always strive my best to not be in that position. Now, from Jax's perspective, right? He's done the right thing. Ekko has spoon-fed him, and he said thanks. But now, if we were to replay quickly, from Jax's perspective, full clears up, Yona runs in your face, oh, not again. Oh, look, this is bouncing back because of the ghouls, maybe we can dive, but Ekko's there. You know, I might as well just go for the crab. Which he does, right? And in theory, he should only get the crab. Now, again, I do think we look mid lane. I don't think we worry about this whatsoever. And if you started Raptors, you can cut mid lane, go Raptors Krugs immediately before you first base, and then go straight beeline for the grubs. You will be level 4, but it's maximizing your experience and preventing the Ekko from counter jungling you. So that's what the Jax should have done if the Ekko did what he should have done, right? Now, if that happens, I think you're in a decent spot, but what I didn't like from the Jax was that we crossed over here. I've shown you this. We do get results-based evidence there. We don't want to think about that whatsoever. I mean, he gets free kills. It's a bad path thing, but gets free kills. And the grubs, again, I don't mind him actually going for them in that situation because he did have the lead. He was a bit wishy-washy about it, though, wasn't he? Like, he didn't full commit to the grubs, when he probably should have. Just, look, I can do them. If Ekko's there, we'll contest, we'll fight, we'll make our ancestors proud, and off we go. But the Ekko now finally gets level 6. We really need a kill on the board here. Let's see. Yellow card hits. W to space. Let's see if we'll zone him out there. It's fine, we'll push him. Not a lot of synergy with the W yellow card, but there should be, right? But the thing is, the Ekko needs to chuck the W, ping it, and the Twisted Fate needs to, like, chuck the yellow card so they can double stack it, and then free kills every time. That's solid, though. Finally, we got it going. But now imagine my jungle friends, if you just recognize the lane states and who were your actual teammates in the beginning. Oh, I should probably gank for Twisted Fate. Alright, maybe I can level 3 gank Twisted Fate too. I don't even have to full clear first. I can just get mid ahead. Create the prior I need for everything else. Jax goes on an adventure. Akaisa ults and doesn't maximize her range. He sees Jax bottom lane and says, okay, I can go ahead and do this. Obviously, Twisted Fate's ult can be stolen by the Sylas, which is the case now. And I think the Ekko's definitely greeting a little bit. Run. He turns in onto the Sylas. Yona is rotating. That's obviously big. And we'll look at Jax's death in a second here. Oh. Okay. Okay. Again, I don't want to results-based it. I don't necessarily think I want to greet these things. See, the Jax actually now does the same thing again. And of course, in this MMR range, everyone likes to flame them. But you do see frequently, you know, people will adapt and recognize what's going on. And the Bard and the Kaisa are able to do something with, well, he dies. And the Twisted Fate is there as well. Yeah, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of these kinds of games and really using them for an ego play. Like, I would never post anything from this game and be like, woo, look at me go. It would just be like, honestly, I'm not playing that well. I'm getting a few things here as Jax. I'm happy to be getting a few things here as Jax. I'm 3-1-3. I'm doing a solid job. That's cool, right? But for me, this is a bit of a scrappy game. Ekko cancels his base to go for the grubs. And again, wrong decision. You have 2,100 gold in pocket. Why would you cancel your base? They're not sexy. They're literally disease. You're not meant to want to take it. You're not going to lose a game because a Yorick got 6 grubs and a Jax got 6 grubs. You say, what are you talking about? That's not true. Look, man, if you can get super giga fed doing the other things I'm talking about, when are they going to hit turrets? Because you're going to keep killing them over and over again because you're an Ekko. You have that 1v9 potential. Now we're the same level, but we're down in gold by 1,100. We randomly go into our Krugs even though we know the Jax is topside. We know that the Yorick is pushing topside. Why are we going all the time to where the enemy is as the Ekko? Stop doing that. I think that's probably the biggest jungle sin. The biggest jungle sin for Diamond junglers is you keep going where the enemy jungler is. I think we can encapsulate this entire game with that. And now you're saying to me, but what if I have the lead? Should I go where they are? Yes, because you can kill them. But not always yes, right? Play it off in your head. You have a huge lead. The enemy jungler goes down to the blue side. You think I should go where they are, right? Because I can kill them and take their stuff again. Yeah, but what if, in that moment, you could herald and kill top lane and hit, like, 2 turrets all the way to inhib? So, you want to use your lead to definitely go and kill them a few times and apply pressure. But then you also want to let them play a little bit. Okay, you're worried, you're stressed, you go do those little things in the corner, right? Treat them like a toddler, and then go the other side and do the grown-up stuff. So it's always about, you need to be where they are if you have the lead, until you mustn't, right? Ekko ults there, obviously, and we had a little bit of the trolley McTrolleys. So, hopefully that makes sense, but let's see how this game plays out. Now, obviously, the Ekko doing a naughty, but that's fine. We do have... Look, I don't see a difference between someone using their spells here in isolation. And you know what, actually? Let's go to another game. Because this game's washed. Okay, we've jumped into this one. Let's see if that single jungle sin holds true here. Again, I have no idea what happens in these games whatsoever. I have someone find them for me, give me the replays, and it's on me to look at them blindly and see what we can take from them, a lesson or two that we can focus on, and then give to you. So, let's see if the Pantheon suffers from the same issue. We have a Pantheon versus Rengar. We're going to speed through this phase, because obviously we know what principle we're looking for here. Move that out of the way. Going where the enemy jungler is when we shouldn't, or going where they're not when we should. That's what we don't do. But also that's kind of the point, isn't it? So the Pantheon decides to cut around the long way in case of vision issues. There was none. I guess he was looking mid lane a little bit. Just goes into the... I think we could have just walked to here straight away, but that's a really, really nice gank. And again, he is avoiding this sin, right? How is he avoiding the sin of being where the enemy jungler is when he shouldn't be? Because we know the Rengar's going to be sequencing down here, juicy fresh, we do a red side quadrant into a gank, which allows us to reset and go topside. Now, the benefit of going the long way round means that by the time you show, right, this guy's already on the wolf camp, which means it's too late for him to cut back in vertical. If you show too quickly, because you're a savant quick clearer, that's also not good, because then he's just going to counter jungle you and vertical jungle you. That's why level 2 ganking is astro bad, and you don't want to do it. Right? If you're red Krugs or red Raptor, I don't give a shit what you do. If you're getting bottom lane level 2 at 230, any jungler with their soul is saying, oh, thanks for the blue and the brown. But because they don't have to walk around things anymore, right? We got this gap. It's really free food for them. Why would you give them free food for no reason? And so by doing this, pushing this wave out here into Crash, beautiful. The Rengar now loses all potential plays. And now he is on the opposite side to the Rengar, just avoiding him, because you don't have to fight the enemy jungler perma. You really don't. If you can just take away their choices in life and make them miserable, that's perfect. Now, this is a good example of, should we be where they are aggressively, right? Yes, because we know that we are an early game jungler with a Vex, and we know that's going to be abused. We know the Rengar's on the bottom side. We also know that we don't have time to do a whole quadrant, much like the Elise on the gameplay channel that I just released. So I think he should be looking... Oh, there it is. There it is. That's the problem with the play. All right, he was doing so well, wasn't he? So this is a great example. Avoids contact with the Rengar when we don't want contact with the Rengar. Now we want contact with the Rengar because we got a long sword and he got nothing. Leave your scuttle, go for this mid lane counter gank. As soon as she counter ganks it, sit in the bush. Because you know the Rengar, the Diamond Rengar here is going to do the same damn thing the Jax did, because for some reason Diamond Jungle still do this. They cross over for double scuttle. Now, it's okay to cross over for double scuttle, right? All my courses are based upon fundamentals over the years, 10 years of stuff, and we talk about a lot of examples where you could double scuttle for pressure points. But a lot of the time, you don't really need to anymore, unless you're starting Raptors, Krugs, Red, Wolves, Gromp, Blue, Scuttle, Look, Nothing, cross mid lane, Raptors, Krugs. Maybe you can scuttle Raptors, Krugs, if possible, right? But you're not necessarily looking to enforce it like this Rengar is. If Rengar sees the Pantheon go down here, do the gank, and go back to base, you 100% know that the Pantheon is going to be topside, right? And the Camille's got Prior here as well, which is great for the Rengar, but if I'm the Pantheon, I'm controlling that blue and I'm controlling that scuttle, making sure no one gets it, unless Rengar shows up mid lane, in which case now we want to do the counter gank. And because we don't do the counter gank and Rengar has a smite here, he should be able to yeet, ooh, not quite, and Rengar jumps in. For some reason, that's why I paused to speak about these things, because for some... Okay, we died. Good. Good. I'm glad we died. Because sometimes I say these things and then it works out anyway, and then people... If I play it first, they're like, but Virkayu, he got the kill, which is just results-based, right? We want to talk about it before it happens, and I have no idea what's going to happen, and then we can see what occurs where we can kind of reconcile or confirm or deny, whatever. Like, sometimes we're wrong, right? It happens. But yeah, I feel like the Pantheon there should have been set up to trap that counter gank perfectly before the Pike... Sorry, not Pike, but before the Vel'Koz is able to show... Why Pike? Before the Vel'Koz is able to show up. We don't do that. And now we give the Rengar back a serrated Dirk base. And what this does is allow the Rengar here to be in a position to counter gank, to be in the vicinity for this, because this is where he started. And now you're going to the top side again. And I don't necessarily know that I would, just because the Camille's going to be here. I know Grub's going to be up, excuse me, not Crab. This is all a colossal waste of time, and you know the Rengar's going to be here. Do you even win this 2v2? The Rengar Serrated Doke level 3, he's level 4, almost 5. The Camille... Okay, apparently the Camille wants to give things away. Big shield. W from the Irelia, flashes over the wall. Camille got nothing. That's what the jungle theory looks like if you were to put it into words. There is none. It's just gobbledygook nonsense. Now he's afraid of this because the Aurelian Soul's gone back to base. So now we're going back to it. The obsession over doing objectives that you don't need to do, of contesting things that you don't need to contest for zero reason. Guys, honestly, if you just recognize, like, look, there's no point wasting time on these grubby nuggets. Let me just go ahead and sequence all the way down. Like, just go buff, 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 fist in the face. And the Rengar shows top lane. Rengar takes a grub. Cool, fist his grump in the face. Steal his wolves. Sit in this bush. Fist him in the face when he shows up. Gank bottom lane again. And again, and again, and again, and again. Like, why are we wasting our time dancing around grubs as early game junglers with somewhat of a tempo advantage from our beautiful level 3 gank, and we just don't use it? It's absolutely ridiculous. So again, he is violating the sin by being where the enemy jungler is when he shouldn't, because he doesn't have the prior for the situation. He's not strong enough to make the fight, and he could be getting way more from the map than Rengar gets from the grubs. Now, if you can't take the grubs and you need the grubs, do the grubs. If you just need to snack one grub and get out, snack one grub and get out. For sure. But both these games, in these particular situations, it has been very, very important that you, like, he could have easily, like, look at this. 1 quadrant, 2 quadrant, counter gank, not counter gank, just gank, 3 quadrant control for this Pantheon. 3 quadrant control for the Pantheon. And look, Rengar's level 6. He's sitting topside. He's going to go counter jungle the Grump again. I don't necessarily think he should always want... I think this is just an emotional reaction, right? He sees Pantheon bottom lane. He counter ganks. Why always counter gank tonight? He sees the Pantheon bottom lane. He counter jungles. Like, he's not doing this for any real reason, right? But the Pantheon now has no idea where the Rengar is. Is he bottom side? Is he in my jungle? What's he doing? Rengar leaves. I don't agree with the Rengar's prior thing necessarily, but again, like the Jax, is getting freebies for no reason. So we'll take those. We're going to ult into the mid lane here. Now we don't have flash. And hopefully... Oh, nice TP. Very nice. So let's see what occurs next. Slowed. You walk at them, Pantheon. Yeah, you walk at them. That's how you do it. There we go. Should be at least 1 kill. Alright, so... Cinematic rocket. Now Rengar's gonna get a free dragon. Aye. Alright, so basically, I think I am mentally drained from this. Alright, yeah, so obviously we had the first game and I just wanted to see if I took a random second game, could we apply that one principle to another situation? I think there's a lot of evidence that we could do, and obviously you gotta understand when it's time to be where the enemy jungler is, to counter gank them, to run into them and actually do things, and where you just need to be away from them and give things up to get more from the map. So hopefully these games provide you a little bit of something to think about for your own games. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.